Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the Suki and Scott show back for the new year. The gentleman you were looking at is not Sukanya. The gentleman you were looking at is not Philip Paz. That is the legendary composer, producer, music, movies, TV, Randy Edelman. Randy, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for
Good
coming
to see
on
you,
today.
Scott.
I'm
good.
Is it still? I know the Happy New Year only goes to about January 3rd. Is it still too early or too late?
It's a little late. You're
Is
a
it
little late
now. All right, listen, you're over.
For me,
you're over.
I started Sunday the 2nd. Or no, the Sunday. Yeah, Sunday the 2nd. Yeah.
Your new year kicks in Sunday the 2nd.
That's when it kicks in. Yeah.
I like it. Listen, so she's ill today. Phil's having audio problems, so you're my
it's just the two of us.
You're my de facto co-host, and you can interview yourself with me. It'll be a wonderful experience.
You got to do it.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, we're going to kick off the show, get it started, and we're coming right back on the other side. Here you go.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott, that's 7 of Hearts. Exactly.
This is a sexy show.
Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and it was a question respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful!
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light, it gets in there and it just fights the kung flu, is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
We love you.
The Suki and Scott Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we begin the new year with one of the legendary figures in music, my man, Randy Edelman. Randy, good to see you, pal.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Listen, so you're over on the West Coast now. Is it beautiful weather for you right now? Because it's crappy.
Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, crystal clear, 75 in my backyard in the studio. That's it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's about 30.
But I'm a Jersey boy, though.
I know. You grew up in Teaneck, New Jersey, right?
Right over the bridge.
Was the Riverside Square Mall built by the time you left, or no?
The Riverside. You mean where town is that in?
Riverside Square Mall is right in Teaneck, and it's right off of Route 4.
Oh yeah. Oh God. Yes. Yeah. You mean near Paramus?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. That was my hang. Concrete jungle. Yeah.
I'm a Bergen County guy, man. You know.
Come on.
I'm living it every day. Yeah, Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey, my friend.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, Teaneck, not too far away. And listen, I have to give you your proper introduction. Okay, so listen, I'm going to pretend you're my co-host right now. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Randy Edelman coming up. He's a composer, producer, many movies, many television shows, many songs that you've heard that you don't even know Randy wrote, like Time in New England took me away.
Oh my God, that's terrible. Okay.
The long rocky beaches and you by the bay. Here's a little bit of Randy, and then we're going to bring him in on the other side.
You wake up with a smile on your face, 'cause today you can't run from your place. You've been locked in your house all year long, but today you begin a new song. You've been pushed from your purpose in life and been scared by the edge of a knife. Now it's time to fight back and break out. Time to see what this life's all about. And just take a good look all around you. Let your heart longings. You're coming out the other side.
Ah, yes, indeed. Now, you wrote that during the pandemic, during the lockdown.
I wrote it right back here where I'm sitting.
Right
I
back
wrote
there.
it. I played all the instruments. Yeah, it's a fun thing about the COVID. I hadn't written a song or sung or anything in years because I've just been scoring films and stuff for, years and years. So that's a kind of old thing. But I was glad to do it. It's been kind of a blast going around with it.
And listen, that's your latest song. And I mean, you don't even have to know what's going on in that song to know you're writing about the pandemic. Is it kind of surreal for you, Randy, that you were locked inside for a while, and did it get your creative juices flowing to do that song?
No, quite the opposite. It got that's just a fun. No, seriously,
right.
It's a fun ditty. It's not it's fun. It's about basically it shouldn't be called Coming Out the Other Side. It should have been called Grab Your Hat, Put Your Best Suit On. And I won't tell, I could tell you stories, but I decided to just call it Coming Out the Other Side and never thought I would even play it for anybody, to be honest with you. But I had lots of projects that I was working on back here, scoring things, all things that had finished shooting. So they were already in post-production. So the pandemic didn't bother me at all. But it was a fun thing. And I came up with the idea late at night and came out here and just did it. So it was kind of fun to kind of revisit my old songwriting days.
I mean, when you look at the movies that you have scored, I mean, hundreds of them. Randy, how does it work? Do they send you the concept? You get to see a trailer? How do you
all right. Okay, first of all,
a movie?
Okay, you gotta take all that out of the equation.
Okay.
Nobody sends you anything.
Nothing.
Nobody wants you.
Right.
Okay. This is after a million movies and big hits. It's a long story with movies, but let's put it this way. By one way or another, they come to you. And when they come to you, there's always a story. Now, you would probably say, if I told you about pictures that I've done like Dragonheart and Gettysburg and Last of the Mohegans, they sound like, oh, those are serious things. And if I said those things have been around for years with people trying to make them, you would say, oh, I understand that. But if I told you about My Cousin Vinny or Billy Madison or The Mask or Kindergarten Cop, you'd say, oh, well, those are little comedies. But the fact of the matter is that all these movies, comedies, action, dramas, have a long history, which is surprising, but it has to do with the way movies are made. Okay. So what I'm saying, getting back to kind of what I wanted to say to you, was when they come to you, first of all, you're the last guy in and obviously making a real important contribution, but everybody else has been involved for years and years and years. And then they come to you and they knock on your door and they say, congratulations, you got our movie. You got 3 days. You know what I mean? And they've been involved for 30 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, I won't get, so yeah. So you come to the movie and you meet a guy called a director. In TV, which I hadn't done that much of. It's sort of producers and network. In feature films, it's one person. That's the only one. It's a director. And that director comes in many different shades, so we speak. It used to be that directors of movies, you'd say, where do they come from? You'd say, well, guys like Elia Kazan and all, they come from the theater. They're theater directors who came out to Hollywood.
Right.
But that's not the case anymore, as you know. They're guys who shoot commercials or shoot music videos or wrote a script, all different kinds of people. Anyway, so they show up, you're doing the movie, and then it's 24/7. And as far as how much time you have basically as much time as they give you. If it's a week, it's a week. If it's 3 months, it's 3 months. But it's a very, very short amount of time to do a huge task, which is writing a score. And believe me, I could spend a year on every one of them and it wouldn't be enough time. So that's the a thing a film composer is up against. And you have to have your musical chops together and be able to do it, or you're gone immediately, let alone film after film after film. So that's what I've been doing, and I love it. It's a real challenge. It's very political and pressured, but it's great. And I'm basically locked in this room, and I never come out.
So let's say so when Ivan Reitman comes to you and he says, Randy, I got this movie we just did, whatever it is. I need you got 3 days to put some music together. What if it's not what they want when you bring it back?
Oh, it's no. I don't bring no. They come by. And now, because of computers and samplers, years ago, you'd say, how did these guys write these fabulous scores when they didn't have anything? They had, if they were a big composer, they had a moviola, this terrible big thing lugged to their house, and a piano. And the people really would have to wait to the big orchestral score to really hear what it was. So don't ask me how they did it, but they were brilliant, these guys, and they did it. Now it's different. So you're up Schitt's Creek, so to speak, because I can do what's called a mock-up of each cue, and I have enough stuff to really give them a very good impression of what this music is going to be. It doesn't matter if 2 weeks later I'm with the London Symphony Orchestra at Abbey Road, which I am a lot.
Right.
If they don't like it here in my room, they won't like it there. So that's what you do. It's what I call the dog and pony show. And you're doing it for this guy who's never heard this music, but he has other music. What other music does he have? It's called a temp score. Now, this isn't just some music they threw in. This is music they put in over months and years of working, shooting, editing the film. And once they get that music for each cue, which is a cue is whenever music starts in a film, it goes a certain amount of time. It could be 20 seconds or 2 minutes. And see, they have that in their head. So you say to yourself, well, what are you doing? I'm writing an original score. And so you've got to deal with that. You've got to deal with a preconceived emotional tie the director has to wherever he has music. And now guess what? Randy Edelman's going to play him something that he looks at him and says, yeah, I know you had that, but you know what? I've been looking at this. I can study this. I have something better. You don't say that. I used to say that. you know what I mean? Because they're hearing something they never heard. And it took me years, Scott, to realize that when I press the button and the music comes out of my speakers, they're not hearing what I'm hearing.
Right.
You say, well, it's the same stuff. Yeah, but who knows what's going on in these guys' heads? They're actually not, they're hearing, ooh, that doesn't sound like I thought, or I never. So this is what any composer, if they were being honest with you, a lot of them would not have this conversation with you. But I'm telling you the bottom line, the truth. This is what film composers, if they're fortunate enough to be doing this, and though there are a lot of them around here where I am, in terms of like the whole planet, there are a handful of film composers who do many pictures. So this is one of the things you're fighting against. And what you're trying to do, to be honest with you, is get them the hell out of the room.
Yeah.
So that they can go away and you can proceed looking at their picture that they spent all this time on and think. It's not just about writing music, but you're up against a time thing. So that's what it's about. And you live whatever the picture is, comedy, drama, you live that. If you're a composer, you live that 24/7 for as much time. You're literally the character in the film. That's what happens. And you never go out. But like I said, it's a great thing to be.
It's beautiful. Randy, let me see if Phil's back in. Let's see if we got his audio working. Phil, are you there?
I think so.
Can you hear me? There we go. Look at
I can't go through that again.
Oh, all right, Randy, start over.
Oh no,
I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing. Listen, we'll with Phil coming in. Let's start here, Randy, as well, because we do a lot. We have so many singers and musicians on this show over the last 2 years. Big names, people who are looking to get big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, you got the man now.
Well, I know. That's why we requested you.
You have the real deal here. Not
one of our
social media.
One of our favorites is always, Barry Manilow, like I was singing to you at the beginning. So you actually wrote Weekend in New England, right? You wrote it, you sang it, because I know I have where are you?
Yeah,
I know you got it
it's
right here.
just
So hey,
listen.
hey, that's you right there, 100 years ago.
Oh my God, that's Baby Randy, right? That's
all right,
what,
right?
Yeah.
Now, how does a Barry Manilow
Okay,
come to get your song?
It doesn't. It doesn't. Now, whenever you hear these stories, all these stories like this one. Now, when I say 1 in a million, you may say, well, hold it. You were writing songs, doing albums. Lots of people were doing the songs. But for a specific thing like that, from a completely non-commercial song called Weekend in New England, that, remember the story I just told you about? I wanted to call my new song something. I won't even tell you the story, because I wrote the song and they said, oh, you have to call the song When Will I Hold You Again? So I went into the bathroom and vomited and came back and said, sorry, that's not a. Now, I did that song on an album. I had done 3 or 4 albums, of course, thinking like, you do an album. And by the way, I was a classical musician, no intention of writing songs, doing albums, didn't know anything. That was when the music business changed. And if you could carry a tune and write a decent melody, guess what? You could get a record deal. Now that may be overstating it, but that was the case. So after I had done a couple of these albums, I had a success in a place called London. Now, London, they speak the same language as we do here, right? It doesn't sort of make any sense. It's not like I had success in Germany or Taiwan. So I had these hit records, and I did a show called Top of the Pops that was like, a mainstay on the BBC. You had to have like a top 10 record. I don't care who you were. You don't get on.
Hold on. I'm going to hold you right there before you go on, because here's a quick little segment from Top of the Pops.
Started out in innocence, the way that most things do. 1,000 people crammed in one place, but the only face was you. I grabbed your hand and we raced out, hardly said a word. I'd only seen you for a minute, but I was rounding third.
Look at you, so young.
Now that's an example. See, there's too much to get into here, now that Phil has. But that's an example. That wasn't the song. That became a big hit. Just me and a piano playing arpeggios. That's like a standard. It's called the Up-Tempo Woman. Years, by the way, before that, whatever, Uptown something, Downtown Billy Joel song. But no, seriously, I'm just telling you the facts here. But anyway, so I got done doing that show, right? I go back to my hotel. Now, I had been doing albums. I maybe was 24 or 25. I went back to my hotel. I now had a big head, just did Top of the Pops. I had a hit. I had done all these albums. People had done my songs. I was ready to pop. And the phone rings. It's some guy who lived, guess where, Scott? Teaneck,
New Jersey.
He was from there. He had been to high school. He was a year before me. If you were a cool guy in high school in Teaneck, you didn't associate with anybody who was not your year. You know that kind of thing from Woodcliff Lake or wherever.
Sure.
Okay. So listen. So the guy gets on the phone. I didn't know his name. And he was working for someone who was sitting next to him by the name of Clive Davis.
Okay.
This is like something out of Get Back from Top of the Pops. You've been doing this stuff for, I say all these years. I was like 24 years old. I had sitting in London with doing press and everything. And now Clive Davis gets on the phone and says, listen, we have this album of yours. The only reason they had the album is because I had these 2 or 3 hits out in London. And the last song on the album that the record company made me first take off the album, the one they wanted me to call When Will I Hold You Again, was called Weekend New England. And so Clive Davis gets on the phone and said, listen, this is a great song. It's got a great hook, great chorus, but it's too complicated. And he was right, because it's a jazz tune. Okay. But goes to the same big chorus. I was about to say, hey, you know what? You want to do the song? Fine. But Barry had just had, Mandy or Brandy, and I write the songs. And I knew Barry, whole other story.
Right.
We were working at the same. He was Joan Rivers, not Bette Midler's accompanist. Before he was Bette Midler's accompanist, he was Joan Rivers' accompanist. Won't get into it. Anyway, I thought about not doing it, but the next probably 2 hours later, I went down to the bar in the hotel. It was closed because it was late at night. And it took me about 10 minutes. What I did is I rewrote the verses so that they were very, very simple. As a matter of fact, they were literally the same chords as in the chorus. So I wrote, last night I raved goodbye. Now it seems years. I'm back in the city where when will I... Okay, so I simplified it. If you listen to my album called Farewell Fairbanks and you hear that song, you won't believe it. But anyway, the next morning I went into a little hole in the wall. I did a piano vocal, no overdubs, sent a cassette over to the hotel where they were. I didn't even make a copy for myself because I was, didn't really think about it. And a few weeks later, Barry did it. And then Clive, bought, kind of got me out of my contract and I became an artist for Arista. Yeah. Anyway, that's so, nice. But meanwhile, that's the story. So when you say, how does somebody, now you couldn't make a story up like that. It sounds good. Everything goes, oh, you're in England. You're a big shot. You do Top of the Pops. Clive Davis calls you up, says, could you make a few changes? But it doesn't normally happen like that. That's that one. I've got many, but I won't get into it. That's Weekend in New England. And then now I'll tell you one more thing, and then we'll move on with maybe Phil. You see, Phil, I'm going to give you your time. Nice. So now it's I'd say maybe a month later. I'm coming back from England to California. I stop in New York to see my mom and dad in Teaneck. And now Clive's really into this thing with me. He's listening to my album. He wants to sign me as an artist and blah, blah, blah. So I have to go back to California and go to the record company I was with and plead and say, hey, you haven't been able to break my records in the United States. So you please let me go, So that's what was the plan. But I went into Clive's office and he closes the door and he has me sit down and obviously what he's going to do is he's going to play me something I never heard, which is this recording of this song that I rewrote in 10 minutes that I knew for a couple of years my way, but I had quickly rewritten it for him, went into the little studio in Soho, sent a cassette, didn't even have a cassette. And now he blasts this thing. You can imagine Clive in his, this is his meat. He blasts this thing out, but it's Weekend in New England, and it's exactly note for note what I did at the bar in the hotel at 2 a.m. But guess what? It's a fully produced thing. Yeah. So it hit me. It's hard to listen to that because I knew my song. And the only version of that song I knew was what I rewrote at the hotel and did that morning. So it took, like he played it, and I was like, it was like 20 people came in and they looked at me. What do you think? And it was like, well, let me hear it again, So anyway, it all worked out great. It was a huge hit.
That is amazing. That's amazing. I love
that's that. That's that little tale. Long time ago.
Quick story about the Weekend in New England. That takes me rushing back. Every time I hear it, it takes me rushing back to when I was a junior in high school, a 74 Chevelle. The back seat, a certain girl, and when will I see you again? Now there's a whole story behind that, but I cannot go into it here. But
so a bit of clothing comes off. Okay,
not us, Randy, not us. I love it.
Yeah, I
love it.
Thanks for the memories.
Like I said. That was it. I'm not just saying that, I'm accused all the time since I've been doing films, which is obviously for years, of I am the son of the guy that wrote those songs and did all those albums. That's what they just don't. It's like no one can say, hold it. You did those things. You were a certain age and now you're doing something else. It doesn't work like that. So all the time they think I'm either a different person or the son of that Randy
of the guy. Well, Randy, when you have that song with Barry with that song, and you've done stuff where the Carpenters have covered your songs, and Dionne Warwick and so many big names, right? There's so many Shirley Bassey's of the world. Does it all work that way, or do you sometimes say, "I'm going to write a song for Karen Carpenter"?
No, never wrote a song for anybody in my life. No,
okay.
I write the song. When I say, you may say, I write the song for me, like I'm some kind of artist. I never even thought about writing songs, but I got these record deals, and for some reason, even though these albums didn't sell, I was able to connive a little.
I love it.
And get these. I mean, there was stuff happening. I mean, Karen and Richard Carpenter recorded a song from my first album and put me in front of 10 or 15,000 people a night opening for them. I had never sung before my mother. So, but I would write songs for myself. I never wrote a song like and said, "Oh, I'm writing a song for so-and-so." I mean, I can't think of one. And I have all kinds of everybody who
got
did
everybody.
Them. I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, but over the years, people like ABBA, Agnetha, the lead singer, that's another crazy thing. And people like Bing Crosby, the last thing before he made that last putt on the putting green in Spain, the last thing he did is he recorded my song.
Wow. Which one was that?
The Woman on Your Arm, about my grandfather.
Oh,
and that's a whole historical thing. And I never knew when they called me and told me about it. I said, Jesus, what? That's not an obvious song. And they said, okay, I was in London. This is a different trip. And they said, you know what? He's in Spain playing golf with his good friends. He'll be back Monday. Come by the studio. We're going to mix it. And he will tell you why he associated with it. And when I was in the shower that morning in my hotel room in London, there was a bulletin, and you know what the bulletin was. I never got to find out. However, they mixed it. It was on his record, and I played it for my grandmother and grandfather. You can imagine. That's the only voice they knew. You could have played them Elvis Presley or the Beatles. They wouldn't know who it was.
And
but they knew Bing Crosby,
Did you write Kind of Hush for the Carpenters? Was that you? That wasn't you. Oh, okay.
No. I wrote a song called You that's on that album, but no.
Not Kind of
Hush.
Hush.
Oh, no. Kind of Hush. That was an oldie. No.
Yeah.
That was a hit 25 years before they recorded it.
Gotcha.
Herman and the Hermits or somebody. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to the last 1890. Because you're back in like 1754. Wow.
Well, I'll just take you today. What are you working on right now, my friend?
Oh, no. It doesn't work like that.
Listen, I don't want to. We can't pass up the fact of the young lady that you're actually married to.
Although that's a whole other thing. Get your ass out of here. Okay.
Jackie DeShannon happens to also be a little star from.
Well, she hired me when I was 19 to be her conductor. That's
how you guys met, huh?
Plaza Hotel, Persian Room.
And
Persian Room in New York.
There.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. And
my father made me take the gig, because he couldn't figure out what I was going to do with my life. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And she put a little love in your heart and the world.
Randy, yes. Okay.
You're a good man.
Right now, first of all,
what are you
when
doing
I'm doing
now?
a film, I never, ever talk about it or say anything about it, because I just don't. But I'm doing a film now with a great actor from Ireland named Brian Cox. He's got a little series called Succession on HBO.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, So that's his new film I'm doing, and a bunch of other stuff. But you've cut out now 100 years of film scores. Don't you want to?
Well, listen, you got Kindergarten Cop.
No,
Twins.
Old.
You got The
Yeah,
Mask.
old.
Dragonheart. You got Daylight. I didn't even talk about MacGyver. You wrote the theme song for MacGyver.
Well, MacGyver's a classic because that was this.
Play a little bit. Go ahead.
Very few people can rattle that off, but luckily I wrote it. Yeah, we did that as a pilot. Everybody hated it. That was never going to ever be heard again. And they picked it up because they liked the guy, Yeah, and then it was on. It never got high ratings, but it was on after Monday Night Football back east and before it here. And it just stayed on and drove me crazy. So eventually I wrote the theme, but I left it.
Right.
You know, it was
Richard,
that's the whole story.
Richard Dean
But
Anderson.
it's a great experience to have to write all that kind of adventure music literally overnight, you know, because there's no time. So that was a very good training ground. You know, all this stuff is good for what I eventually got into, you know.
Beautiful, beautiful. So listen, man, they keep coming to you for these songs and these movies. And the thing is,
songs,
do you ever get to the movie's done by the time it comes to you to compose, or you ever get to be on
pretty
set?
much,
It's all done,
pretty
right?
much, especially nowadays. Yeah, it's pretty much done now, unless if it's a director who I've worked with, then, you know, they'll ask me, "Oh, come by when we're shooting it." But to be honest with you, I don't like that because it's so involved when they shoot a movie. I like to just say, "Hey, when it's done, give it to me. I come back here. There's nobody here. And I look at this little thing on a little screen. I don't even show it on a big screen. And I get into it." And that's what I like to do. But I normally, and years ago, I thought that was a sort of something I should do, get involved early. But the fact of the matter is you really shouldn't, because then you start coming up with ideas and then you'll see a scene, then the scene's not in the picture. You like an actor, the actor's gone, you know. It's so basically it's best to wait till it's done, you know. And then when they anoint you, you know, and then sort of like it's almost like all these people who've been involved in whatever it is for years, they like dare you to come in and do something that nobody's ever heard before. You know, everybody wants something. And then you say, "Hey, your movie is your movie something no one's ever seen?" No, these are all rehashed stuff. Doesn't matter. You know, if they make original movies, which they don't really, then you could write something more original. But, you know, and then you have a guy standing over you wanting to hear something that he's heard before, sort of like that. He doesn't want to hear like you saying, "I came up with something no one's ever heard." It's a pigeon farting outside my window. It's a great noise for the scene. You know. Okay.
Man, I got to tell you, Randy, you know, looking at your career, you know, many years, projects, you wouldn't believe, just crazy amount of projects. And if Randy Edelman was starting out tomorrow and you had a chance to speak to the young Randy Edelman just starting out, what advice would you give to yourself?
Really simple. If they want to do what, you got to get your musical chops together. You got to be a great musician. That's it. This stuff about kids going to all these universities and stuff for film scoring and programming, forget all that.
Waste.
You better. I don't care if you play the trombone, if you play whatever it is. First, you better get your musical chops together, and that involves years and years and years, just like what I did. And if you don't have that, then you're just not going to be able to. When you get your first opportunity to do, and opportunities, you don't know where they're coming from. You look at Danny Elfman with Tim Burton. Tim Burton is a young, talented kid in the animation department at Disney, making a little short, and he likes a group called Oingo Boingo, and he loves their stuff, and he gets his first shot at a movie, and he calls this kid in Oingo Boingo, Danny Elfman. That's what you know, who's able to, even though he comes from a different, when I said that about me, people now come from a different musical places because of the technology. So it doesn't mean a lot of these people they don't conduct, they don't read and write music, but that's different. That they can be just as brilliant as somebody who studied, you know, at a leading conservatory for years. I'm talking about however it is they come by it, they have to work at it and get really good. So whenever you get that shot, you have to be ready musically to handle whatever it is, whether it's a commercial or a video or a song. And then hopefully if this other person has got, you know, talent and a vision and is going to go to the next step, he brings you with him. And that's how this stuff really starts.
Wow.
You know,
Randy,
so
listen,
I would say, as far as for me, what I always say is, you know, you have to be a really wonderful musician. You have to learn theory and harmony and orchestration. And the more you know, the better you're equipped to go to the next step. It's not about sitting at a computer, pushing up, memorizing computer programs. That's dead end. You know,
Right.
Randy, real quick, 2 quick things before you go. Number one, you wrote the theme.
Okay,
to MacGyver,
I'm not
right?
hearing you now.
Oh, you can't hear me? Hello,
You're breaking up.
Hello, Randy, can you hear me?
Testing.
Yeah, you just broke up. You got one of those funny vocoder things going.
Oh, can you hear me now? Testing 1 2.
Wow.
You said, "Can you hear me now?" But you're not clear.
Oh, it's not clear, huh?
Now you are.
Oh, okay.
Now you're okay.
Real quick before you go, 2 quick things. So you wrote the theme song to MacGyver. You know, us growing up in the 70s and 80s, there were so many great TV theme songs.
Okay, you're not. It's not happening anymore.
No, not more. Phil, you hear me?
You're freezing.
Yeah, no, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Could be Randy. It could be your signal. Can you hear me now?
What?
Can you?
Yeah.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Randy, you still there? Randy? Oh, we lost you.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, all right.
You hear that it's screwed up?
No.
Testing. 1 2 3.
You hear
Randy.
Phil?
No,
Can you hear me?
you're not testing. Your testing's not happening.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. All right, Randy. Listen, you
No,
go
it's
out,
still
buddy.
there.
It's fine.
Maybe is it Phil?
No,
Can you
we're
guys
good.
try each one of you separately?
Testing. 1 2 3. Testing.
No.
1 2 3.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. No.
Yeah, he's got Randy. You're kind of your picture is
You're
kind of
playing music now. You know, your notes are like, you know.
Yeah,
Randy, listen, we'll let you go, bud. We'll let you go. I know you got an appointment.
No, it's still not happening. So
All right.
I think
Go
you
ahead,
said
my
you're going
man.
to let me go.
Go ahead.
You didn't get into it yet, baby.
I did.
Anyway, it's okay. You got enough. You got enough, right? But
Oh,
what you got is you got a sort of early kind of thing.
We got the nostalgic Randy. No, can't hear us.
The no was good. That was about it.
Oh, all
Then
right.
you went like this.
Listen, we love you, pal. We love you. We love you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year. Stay well. And I'll play you off.
Randy, you're the man. We love you, pal.
See you later, buddy.
I don't know what happened, Phil. It was going beautiful there.
It was his signal because his picture was kind of pixelated.
Yeah, he started pixelating up, huh? Well, listen, I'm glad you got back in. You fixed your audio problem. Boy, what a day, man. Suki's sick. Your audio was bad. It was, but I'll tell you what, he is, listen, to do what he does, before we bring in STACY and Jason Allen, to do what he does. I mean, the guy's really a genius.
Yes.
He's an absolute genius. If you look at some of the song, I know he was making fun and downplaying it, but to have guys like Manilow and the Carpenters and Dionne Warwick, this list goes on. Bing Crosby was telling you about. All these people covered songs that he wrote and sang and produced.
Yeah, and,
right?
and he also scored probably
hundreds
of television shows and movies, and
Yeah.
not things that you never heard of. I'm talking about big time movies.
Oh yeah,
and
Philly
TV
Kid. It's
shows.
unbelievable. I mean, you just
Yeah.
look at the movies that I threw up. I mean, you got The Mask, The Twins, you got Kindergarten Cop, Daylight, Stallone. I mean, who didn't want to get stuck in a tunnel with Stallone? He did so many movies with Ivan Reitman, Ghostbusters too. But just a great guy. And listen, we got enough from him. We got the good nostalgic stuff. The one story about how Manilow got his song, Weekend in New England. It was amazing. I mean, it's amazing how that works out. Listen, we got Jason and STACY Allen coming up. They are, magicians, mentalists, illusionists. They're absolutely taking the world by storm, Philly Kid. But before we bring them in, I just want to, we have so many great streaming platforms that carry the show. And I just want to, give a big shout out to our friends at Stir. Suki and Scott show has been rolling on there since I think the end of March, if I'm not mistaken. And you basically, what they have is it's live TV, it's on demand. They've got local news, they've got movies, they got music channels. And Phil, the best thing is it's all free. When you go on to Stir, it's all free and it's ad supported. I popped on there today And on the TV guide was Kieran and Nivi, the twins, the singing twins who are on with us. That's the show on there today with comedian Dwayne Perkins.
Nice.
So you just pop on a stir, and the only problem is I'm starting to look like Joe Biden in that picture. I saw that the other day. I'm like, holy cow! I look like Joe friggin' Biden in that shot.
No, I don't see it. I don't see it.
No, not at all.
No.
But, it's funny though. It's my hair. Look how gray my hair looks in that picture. Good Lord.
Hey, well, you know, when you're close to 75 years old, that's what happens.
I know. I mean, look, I take care of myself. But anyway, Stir, that's one of our streaming partners. We love those guys. Happy New Year to them. Again, movies, music, TV shows, news all over the country. They've got hundreds, thousands of selections on demand. And again, Philly Kid, it's all free because it's all ad supported. So you don't have to pay a dime to watch any of that stuff, especially there's over 100 episodes of this show over there as well. So listen, you ready to be amazed, my friend?
Always.
Ready to be amazed. Freedom Called, your video, by the way, also taking the world by storm. I mean, the response has been unbelievable, Philly Kid. We'll play that again at the end of the show.
Nice.
But it's really rolling along great. But STACY, Jason Allen, I'm going to show you a little bit of them, and then we're going to bring them in live on the other side, and they are going to blow your socks off. Here you go.
Nice.
Welcome to our stage, the Allens.
We need to find someone that just by looking, they look like they're trustworthy, smart, and intelligent. Hi, how are you? Can you do me a favor? Yep, perfect. Hand that to the lady right behind you, right there, okay?
Perfect.
Look down inside. Do you see anything? No. Hold it out in front of you. Like that. Let go with your right hand. Good choice of hands. Reach up, grab the invisible egg. All right. Toss it in the air. Left hand only, twirl the back. Toss the egg first. Left hand only, twirl, twirl. Reach all the way down inside. Do a big round of applause.
What is your word?
Consistent.
Thank you so much, Joe. Excellent job.
There they are, ladies.
Hi. That was
nice.
That was a great intro. We're going to steal that.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I just took yours and put some different music under it.
I loved it.
You can hear us okay, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, good. Boy,
We were going to freeze on the screen when
we do that all the time with people. We freak them out. It's very funny. But how are you guys doing? It's great to see you.
It's great to see you too. We're doing good. First off, that was amazing with Randy. I was looking him up while you were interviewing. He did Ghostbusters too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he was freaking out over here. He's like, every movie I love. He's like,
yeah. He is like I was telling Phil, he is absolutely he's a genius. When you look at his history and you look at all the stuff he's done, you go on his website and you see all the actual movies that he scored and all the albums that he's had, and you look at all the people who have covered his songs, and the guy is just an absolute genius.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he did something with Nelly or something.
Yeah. Nelly, yep.
So many things.
He's done it, and you see he's got a personality that's just off the charts, and the guy could. You see how many pianos he had up on the shelves, like 20 different pianos.
We're gonna try to get him to do a theme song for us.
Yeah, we can have him write our theme song. That would be.
Yeah, that might cost you somewhat.
Yes,
not on the magician salary. It won't.
Yeah, definitely not.
See, the only difference though, Scotty, is those pianos he has. He plays them, unlike the guitar that you have over your left shoulder.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That thing never moved. They don't even have any strings on them. Anyway, listen, guys, it's so great to have you on. Very rarely do you have a husband and wife team that's doing this stuff. I know we had one on way back when we first started. I can't remember that, but I think they were from Canada. Nice. Also, very great. I've been watching you guys, and the stuff you do is just fantastic. Philly and I, and Suki, unfortunately, not here today. we're always blown away by mentalists, and we've had them on from all over the world, like from Singapore. We've had mentalists on, we've had magicians on from near the Indian Ocean, and obviously here in the States. And there's so many talented people. But it's
now Akron, Ohio.
Now Akron,
Ohio.
Akron, Ohio. In the house. You guys, first of all, how'd you guys meet? Let's start there.
So that's kind of we were on Penn and Teller Fool Us about a year ago, and that was the premise of that trick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The joke was that I remembered the story one way, and Stacey remembers. I remember trying to order a drink from the bartender, where you remember.
No, he was definitely hitting on the bartender.
Yeah.
She was very pretty, very likable.
I've been married long enough to know that she wasn't that pretty, and she was
and not likable.
I love my wife. I was visiting a friend in Akron. I'm originally from the Youngstown area, a small town called Salem, and I was up visiting a friend. I was in the middle of working cruise ships. So I've been a magician since I was 13.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I started professionally when I was about 22. And I was in downtown Akron. You were with?
I was just with my friend, and we decided to go out that night, and we happened to walk into the same bar that he was in. So very cliche. We met in a bar.
Sure. I was doing magic, and I found the only woman at the time that was a fan of magic. And you picked me up, actually.
Yeah, I did.
Really? She picked you up?
It finally worked.
Yeah. Well, he was doing magic for the bartender, and I loved magic. I never thought I would do magic for a living ever. Still weird that I do that. But I love magic. And so I said to my friend, I said, "Oh, I want to go watch this guy do magic." And she was like, Are you serious? And I said, "Yeah, I do." So I walked myself over and I said, "Hey," "can you do something for me?" So that's how we met.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Nice.
That's great.
Hey,
That's great.
Jason, I got to tell you this quick story about my magical career. When I was about 8 or 9 years old, back in those days, they had magic tricks in the back of comic books that you could order. One was some X-ray glasses. Now, I thought that if I get these X-ray glasses, and I can really freak people out by telling them what's in their pockets. Okay, so I said, "Hey, Dad, can I order these X-ray glasses?" And told him my plan. He's like, "No."
That was it. That was the end of your magic, right?
That was the end of my magic career. So, do you remember your first magic trick?
Yeah. So I have a few different things that happened that really got me into magic. I remember being in like first grade, and I got a magic book, and looking through it and realizing that magic wasn't real. It is very real. If anybody's, whoever's watching this is very real. I'm not trying to break the rules here.
Yeah.
And
it's an art form.
It's an art form. And later in my life, I kind of didn't think about it. I was out at Venice Beach, California, and with my dad, and we were walking along, and this gentleman came up out of nowhere and made a cigarette disappear, and poured it out in my ear, and I lost it. It was the time that David Blaine was really huge on TV.
Yeah.
And I went home and like everything I could find on magic. The internet was, I'm dating myself, but the internet was not what it is now. You couldn't find as much. So I found every book and everything.
Yeah.
And the first trick that I ever learned, one of the first tricks, was how to put a playing card through a glass window. So we would pick one, I'd shoot at the window and it'd be on the outside.
Wow.
And I remember doing that for someone and they reacted. And like that feeling of watching someone like not knowing what's going on is like what drove me into it.
It's like a comic standing on stage getting the laughs. It's like a high. When you see people react to your stuff, as simple as it may be, and we're simpletons, so we react to everything.
It's interesting that you say that because it's interesting to see how people see magic. We do a lot of events. We work the corporate market for engineers and people that are just absolutely brilliant. And so I want to watch the way I word this, the way I'm wording this. They are not easier to fool, but they overthink.
Yeah. They're so smart and so analytical that you can just watch their brains just like going into overdrive, trying to figure out, because they feel like they should know, and they're just overthinking something that sometimes is pretty simple.
Where I actually did a trick there was a kid sitting there, probably about 7 or 8, and I did the trick and he looked at me and explained how the trick worked, exactly how it worked. And I'm like, no, that's not it at all. Like, yeah, it's interesting how money works.
Do you guys want to do a couple things?
Yeah, sure.
You want to go? You can go first.
So my background's in cards. I learned how to play cards when I was younger. When I was about 6 or 7, my grandmother taught me how to cheat at poker.
Nice, Grandma.
Yeah. Just watch it, Jimmy. At least if I can do this. Here we go.
I'm going to put you up full.
Yep, you got me? Good. Here we go. There you go. I hope you guys had a good time. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good job. That was great. Philly Kid, what'd you think?
Awesome.
Yeah, I told you we shouldn't have had him on. I'll do this again here. So we'll try this nice and smoothly here. Kings. We're going to shoot for the kings.
All right.
Here's the first one. Did I get it? Yeah, King of Hearts.
Wow.
That's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to continue on and show you a little bit of cheating here if I can. Let's make sure we can see on the camera here pretty well. So those are all 4 kings. And the idea is to take those and to place them at different spots in the deck. Do that one there, a little lower. Watch. Here's the idea. If I cut like this, I should have gotten the first king again, the King of Hearts.
Okay.
So you saw me actually cut the deck. If I do it like this again, that's when the second one comes up like that.
I like that.
Phil, I'm going to drop the cards like this. You say stop whenever you want to.
Stop.
Before I get to the end, I know there's a little bit of a delay. Say stop whenever.
Stop.
Right there? You could have stopped anywhere, but that was where we stopped. That's perfect.
Another king?
And so let's try this again. I think
that's unbelievable.
Last one. 2 black kings and 2 red kings and a black king. Here's the next one. Watch close. There we go. We get it? Yes, we did.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Jesus.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm going to guess that
No wonder why she married you.
I'm going to guess that you're banned from all card games in Vegas.
Nobody invites me. I have no idea why. Nobody invites me.
That's great.
Awesome.
All right, Stace, you're up. What do you have?
Oh, okay. So you mentioned earlier you've had some mentalists on the show.
Love it.
That's what I do a lot in our show is mental magic or psychological magic because that's my background. So I didn't do magic growing up.
So we actually tried magic with you.
Oh, yeah.
So Stacy has a background as a therapist. When we met, legally, I have to say she wasn't my therapist, but she was a therapist, and like you didn't have the intention.
No, I have no background in theater, none of those things. Was never on a stage before I met Jason, but I love psychology. Love everything about the way that people think and how your mind works. So we kind of took all of that knowledge that I have and put it into our show and our bits together.
She actually started working with me because of the snow shovel, though.
Yeah, he was working on a cruise ship one day and I was going to a meeting in Akron and I got stuck in the snow in my car. And when I called him, he was on the beach. And I said,
3 months later, we're working together.
Yeah. I was like, something has to change. So I spent a lot of time. I've been doing magic with Jason now for this month will be 8 years actually since I left my job and started performing full time. So and this is a little bit of what I do. So Phil's got to have something like a little mind trick.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Nice.
All right, so we're gonna give this a go. The trick involves 4 cards and 1 question. Okay, but before we get to the question, let's focus on the cards. Okay, so it's your job to pay close attention to the suits of the cards. I want you to remember the order that the suits are in. Okay?
Okay, I'm going to put you up.
Here we go. We're going to remember just the order of the suits. So we're going to start with this one. We have diamonds, right? Next, we have clubs. Then we have hearts. All right. And we also have spades. So that was it. Do you remember the order?
Yes.
What was the order?
Diamonds, clubs, hearts, and spades.
Very good. Very good. Okay. But that wasn't the real question. The real question was, were the cards jacks or kings?
Jacks or Philly. Do you remember what they were? I didn't think they were either. I thought it was queens in there. I thought I saw queens.
What about you, Phil? Jacks or kings?
I think it was Jack's.
You think it was Jack's?
Was it
It's
Jack's?
really interesting. Remember, I told you I really like to learn about how the mind works. And the mind is like a spotlight, okay? We can really only focus on one thing at a time.
Okay.
And we think that we can multitask, but that's not really true. We really can only focus in on one thing. And I made you pay attention to one detail, and that was the order of the suits, right?
Yes.
So the answer isn't Jacks or Jacks or Kings. It's actually neither.
Oh, snap.
Because they're actually all 9s.
Oh, my God.
That's what I'm married to.
Yeah.
That's why you married her.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just a little bit of what I do. I take magic and just put a little psychological spin on it.
That's unbelievable. I like the one, Stace, where you have, you show those guys what word is on the card and they're just blown away.
Yeah, that is my favorite piece that I do in the show.
That's one of our best.
Is that hard to do on a setting like this?
Yes.
Oh, it
yes,
is.
it is. Yes, it is. But it is one of my favorite bits to do, and I do it in almost every show that we do, and it's different in every show because it's really about the interaction that I'm having with the gentleman on stage.
Right,
So it's a really cool psychological effect, but there's also some fun moments because we get to play a little bit with the guys on stage and have a good time. And I love just finding really good volunteers that aren't afraid to have fun up there. So.
I love it. And you guys do like all kinds of corporate events, right? Virtual events as well?
So we didn't go into the virtual world. We were considering.
Oh, okay.
We do a lot of corporate events.
Yes.
We also have our own theater show here in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Which we ran for 3 years until everything shut down. But we're hoping to be back here at the end of January.
Yep. We're supposed to be reopening on January 29th at our theater in Cleveland. So
That's amazing. Wow.
Nice.
It's just, what is that, weekend shows with you guys?
Yeah, so the show's called In Cahoots because what I think is interesting about us is that we both have these two different things. I love sleight of hand, and you are very good at observing and mentalism. And so the show is a combination of us switching in and out of those things.
That's great.
And we are once a week. We're on the weekends once a month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry, once a
month at our theater there. And then most of the time we're doing private events for, sales meetings, conferences, those kinds of things. And the theater came about because we have a lot of friends and family in the area that never get to see us perform at these private events. And they were always like, where can we see you? And so we connected with this awesome hotel in Cleveland called The Nine. And they have this really cool little cabaret theater called the Alex Theater. And we have become their resident magicians there, and it's been awesome.
I love it.
Nice, awesome. Scotty is also kind of known for being he can tell the future sometimes.
Oh.
And he knew you were going to wear that blue and red checkered shirt, so he wore his.
I wore
he wore his
That's true. You guys kind of match. Yeah.
to make you feel comfortable.
Huh? Come on, look at
that. If this doesn't work out, we can go on the road together.
You can fill in.
I think mine is from Untuck It. Where's yours from?
Wherever my wife bought it, I don't know.
All right. So is there a big trick finale coming up?
Sure. Let's do. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so this is an actual thing that we keep in our house. This has been in our house for like 11
from the night we met. You should know.
It is from the night. Well, not all of it. The deck of cards is from the night that we met.
Is there a lock on there? There's a lock on those cards?
Yes, there is a lock on those cards.
It was interesting because when we met at the bar that night, we truly hit it off.
Yes.
And we went back to her apartment, and I did what every guy does: 8 hours of card tricks.
That part of the story is true. He really did do magic for me for about 8 hours straight.
Listen, I always say if you're looking to meet a woman or get a date with a woman or either you're funny or you're doing magic and you're in like Flynn. One of those two, you're in the game.
You can put that down for me. So here's what's interesting about these cards. We keep this at the house because we want to show people that visit this trick. And when we do the trick, when it's finished, we shuffle them back up and we actually take and put this padlock
back on
the cards. We have no idea what the order of these cards are. I mean, you can see they're completely mixed up. But here's the interesting part. That night when we were doing this trick, no matter which way we shuffled the cards, which way we cut. One card kept popping up. That card was
the Ace of Hearts.
So if I had her pick a card, it was the Ace of Hearts.
Yeah, every time he did something for me, for whatever reason, the Ace of Hearts kept coming up.
So we call our card, the card that we think kind of defines us, the Ace of Hearts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phil.
Yes, sir.
Your job is to find the Ace of Hearts in this deck.
Oh, Philly kid, you could do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Phil, name a number between 1 and 52.
30.
30. Okay.
Change it, Phil. Change it right now. Change it.
That's what I was going to ask you, because after this, you're going to say, I should have changed from 30. But if you change from 30, you're going to say, I should have stuck with 30. That's up to you. Do you want to do 30 or a different number?
Stay with 30.
Stay with 30.
Stay with 30.
We're going to move 30 cards from here, and hopefully we're going to find the Ace of Hearts.
Look at this.
Lock off. There we go.
Add lock.
Figure that out.
30 is a high number. I hope that your viewers
We have
are
time.
We got time. We got time. We got time.
So that's 1.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're at 10 cards, which is
Not
going
the
well
Ace of
so far,
Hearts.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, so far.
10. That's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. We removed 30 cards from the deck. You stopped us there, and it just so happens to be
the Ace of Hearts.
What?
Wow.
That
Phil,
was
I told
awesome,
you to.
Phil.
I told you
You
to.
still have a
change it.
future in Magic, I think.
Yeah. Don't give up. Don't give up now.
Oh my gosh.
That is
Wow.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Guys, thank you so much.
Man.
No sawing anybody in half, but for you two, right? None of that.
No,
stuff.
we don't. I won't let him do that.
No, I try every once in a while, but
I love it, guys. Thank you so much. It's before you go, when you went on Fool Us with Penn and Teller, how'd you guys do? Were you able to fool this crew? How'd it work out?
So we didn't.
No, we didn't.
They knew.
We didn't.
But we had a great time.
It was the whole experience was surreal.
I can imagine.
Mainly because we were out there during the pandemic.
Right during the height of the pandemic.
And typically, the way that our show works is we like to work with people and have an audience,
Mhm.
you know. And typically, when they film the show, they have 1,000 people.
Yeah, if not more.
This time they didn't, so it was us and Penn and Teller.
We had to do our bit just for Penn and Teller.
Two of the greatest magicians in the entire world, and they're
Mhm.
sitting staring at us.
And actually, Jason does a lot of the sleight of hand and a lot of the card, artistry in our show. And I don't do a lot of that. I do a little, but I don't do a lot of that. And in our Penn and Teller piece, I actually had to learn some pretty technical card stuff. And before we found out about filming, I thought, I'll just look at someone in the audience so I don't have to look at Teller, because Teller's an amazing card magician. I'm like, I don't even want to look at him when I do this part. And then I found out that there would be no one else there but Penn and Teller. So I had to stare directly at him the entire time. So it was great, but also really scary.
We had a breakdown. There was weeping. There was crying before. When she finally calmed me down, we were okay.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun though.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you fooled Scott and
Yeah, you
Phil.
fooled us.
And,
We don't know how
we're
you
way
did it.
bigger. We're way bigger. So
Absolutely.
You can send us our trophy. We'll
We'll wait for it. We'll display it proudly.
Guys, thank you so much. They're the Allens, Magic and Mentalism. And listen, I hope this this pandemic gets you guys back in your theater sometime soon, and everybody back out there. But guys, absolute pleasure. And when you do come, when you do get the theater going again, come back on so we could promote it, because we have a lot of folks who watch from the middle part of this country.
Awesome.
So,
We would love to.
Awesome. We would love
absolutely,
that.
guys. Thank you so much. Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year.
Take care. Thank you.
Thanks for
Bye.
coming on. Bye. Philly, they were amazing, huh?
how did they do that?
I don't know. I
mean, those cards had a lock through them.
They had a lock on them. You picked 30. I have a feeling if you would have changed it, they would have got you anyway.
I think so.
Oh man,
Wow.
it's so amazing. We've had
That
so many talented people on this show. It's just wild, man. It's just wild. Listen, I'm glad you got your audio back.
Yes.
I was hanging there with Mr. Edelman for a few minutes. He was I'll tell you, that's the one story with the Barry Manilow was great, right? About the song. It was funny because when you were gone, when he first came on, I started singing for him. I was like, "Time in New England took me away," and he goes, "Ugh." He probably hates the song by now.
Yeah,
he's like, "You have a terrible voice." Oh,
he's got that personality. He seemed like he would be very, very cool to hang out with.
Yeah. Oh my God, such a talented guy, and his wife, which we touched on real quick. 2 of her big songs. She was, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that I'm dreaming. Right. So that's her.
Yeah.
Jackie DeShannon, and also Put a Little Love in Your Heart. Right? How's that one go? You remember the world can be a better place. Put a little love in your heart. By the way, tomorrow, Kenny Aronoff coming on the show. Drummer extraordinaire for John Fogerty and John Mellencamp. Amazing talent. So we continue to roll along, Philly Kid. But you have it up there? You have the song up?
Put a little love in your heart. No, that's a different one. Hang on. Put a love.
Jackie DeShannon. And the world can be a better place. Philly Kid, what has the feedback been from Freedom Called?
Amazing. I'm getting messages from around the country. Actually, people want me to come to shows and sing that song. The tributes to military veterans, and so it's really, really amazing. It's people are really, really, really liking the song.
So, and I thought after we were on and we did that pop-up show on Sunday night, what was it? I mean, we had thousands of viewers that night who got to see your video. Mm-hmm. I couldn't stop singing the song for 2 days. The hook. I'm like, Freedom Call. I just found myself singing it. So that's good. It just, it stays in your head. And it was really good. Now, I had thought, because we were talking about the Carpenters, and I thought I read that Kind of Hush was, I thought maybe it was a mistake, but I thought it said Kind of Hush was one of the songs that Randy had written, and the Carpenters had covered that song, but obviously he said it wasn't. But either way, Philly Kid, I was going to play him now.
Oh, yeah, Philly Kid, we're going back. There's this thing happening around the world. There's a kind of hush all over the world tonight. All over the world you can hear the sounds of lovers in love. You know what I mean, just the two of us, and nobody else in sight. There's nobody else, and I'm feeling good, just holding you tight. Come on now. So listen very carefully, get closer now, and you will see what I mean. Phil, am I dreaming? It isn't a dream. The only sound that you will hear is when I whisper in your ear, I love you forever and ever. There's a kind of hush all over the world tonight. All over the world, people just like us are falling in love. Ah, Philly Kid, it's fall here in the U.S. People hiking, biking, smooching out in the woods. Can you feel the love, my friend? You feel it. I got the chills. Come on now. So listen very carefully, get closer now, and you will see what I mean. No, it isn't a dream. The only sound that you will hear is when I whisper in your ear, I love you. Is it forever?
Forever and ever.
There's a kind of hush all over the world tonight. All over the world, you can hear the sounds of lovers in love. Yada-dee-da-dee.
Philly, what are the sounds of lovers in love? Explain it to me, my friend. Are we talking birds and the bees? I don't know. I want to know what love is. There's a kind of hush, Philly, all over the world tonight. All over the world, people just like us falling in love.
Wow, I forgot how good that song really was.
I was going to play it for him, but I didn't because it wasn't his song.
I noticed Cheryl Hall commented "hush." Now I don't know if she was complimenting the song or telling us to
Cheryl.
hush.
She loves us, Cheryl. She was saying hush hush with the I don't know why those don't come up on with the color anymore, but yeah, no, Cheryl loves us. She was just quoting.
No,
the
I
song.
know.
Philly Kid. What can I tell you? Another great show.
Another great one.
Do you feel like singing anything before we go, or we just? I mean, that's why I gave him the hush hush. And you know what I want? I'm gonna finish with your video too. We're gonna play that again before we leave.
Let's just finish up with that one.
But you want to finish up with the video? All right. So so tomorrow we got another great show. I know Suki. I think she's kind of sick right this minute.
Get well, Suki.
Yeah, she wasn't feeling good this morning. She was going to come on, but then she texted, said she didn't really feel good. She didn't have a good night's sleep. So I said, don't worry about it. You're fired. But no, so hopefully she's not here tomorrow, Philly Kid. I'm sure we'll be back. We got, like I said, we got Kenny Aronoff. And also we have an executive producer on from Crackle, who is on with us tomorrow. She has an amazing new show. I can't remember the name of it's really cool. It's like things you didn't know about everyday things we use in the world. Really cool stuff. But we'll have it all going on tomorrow. Got a great show and some good Taylor Dane's coming up next week and all kinds of good people. But we're rolling along.
To my heart.
Tell me I'm the only. Remember she was on singing for us? Taylor Dane?
That was a great show, man.
That was a while ago already, huh?
Yeah.
But good stuff. Philly Kid. So that's what we'll do. We'll end up with your Freedom Called video, which everybody's still talking about. Great show today. Stacy and Jason Allen, thank them. Randy Edelman was amazing. Listen, we could have spent an hour with him. Like he said, we didn't even get to like some of the stuff he's really doing now because we was talking about all the cool stuff. From back when, but we'll get him back on. He was a character. And Philly Kid, listen, I'll see you tomorrow. To our audience, thank you so much for watching. We'll replay this again tonight around 7:30, 8 o'clock, 9:30, whichever works, whenever I can hit the button again. And once again, Philly Kids, Freedom Called, coming at you. Philly Kid, I'll see you later, my man.
See you, buddy.
Thank you, soldier, for your noble sacrifice. Never forgotten how you paid the price. Our freedom is a strong one, paid with sweat and blood.
tears and dirt. On the field it turns to mud. Freedom called, freedom called, and the chosen ones were ready. Freedom called, freedom called, and the chosen ones came running. Thank you, mothers, for sending us your best. We hear your cries and feel the heartbeat in your chest. Freedom called, freedom called, and the chosen ones were ready. Freedom called, yeah, freedom called, and the chosen ones came running. Thank you, soldier, for your noble sacrifice.